20 minutes. When this music ends, the show's over. Welcome to Reef Radio. Reef Radio. Friday nights at 10 p.m. for all you fish geeks out there. It's Steve Rotter, your host on RODI Reef. Here's what's going on every Friday night until I get sick of doing it at 10 p.m. Central. I'm going to do a live show in the studio. Alright? And it's going to be cool. We're going to take some phone calls if you guys want to call in. It's going to be about a 20-minute show because I don't like watching shows longer than that, roughly. Unless we get on a roll, it'll be 30 minutes max. I'm going to read a few comments from RODI Reef, answer questions if we get phone calls. If you do call in, try and make it just like a few minutes so we can get on to the next call or on with the show. Then, the streaming video will not be placed online. I'm gonna slice and dice and edit it real nice. I did not mean for that to rhyme, by the way. And I'm gonna put it up on Saturday morning, tomorrow, as my reef show. Alright? And here and there I'll still film, you know, you've seen me by the aquarium, on the couch, in the studio. I'll still be doing product reviews as funds allow, and things of that nature, but for the most part, we're going to focus on Friday night saltwater aquarium care, and that's going to be my Saturday show. Scott and I, Scott from Mile High Reefers, we also do Reef Talk every Sunday, and we film those shows on Saturday. If you want to be on Reef Talk, we Skype, just contact us here. Reef Talk is on Mile High Reefers every Sunday, and RODI Reef. So let's get on with it. Today I'm going to talk about, basically for newbies, a lot of you guys already know this, do you make your own salt water at home or do you buy it? Pros and cons to both. I make mine. But before we get on to that topic, let me just say hello to some of the people in the room here. Chris Coleman, he's here. By the way, we have instant messaging going on. And you guys can shout me questions unless I'm talking. I'll try and read them, but I also want to do this too. We got to move on with the show. Ed's Fish Tank Extreme. Ed, as usual, what's up? Good to see you. Phil Tonelli. Sorry, Tonell. I thought you were Italian. What's up, Phil? Bay Area Reefs. There he is. CZR112. What's up, Steve? Caesar in New York. 80% water change in the process on quarantine. Very nice. I just did a 50% water change on my 10-gallon quarantine for my 5 Picasso clowns right outside the studio here. Atmospheric Reef, what's up, man? Bay Area Reefs, time for the Howard Stern of YouTube. You are too kind, sir. You are too kind. Chris Coleman, hopefully there will be no piranha trolls tonight. I hope not. Mated pair of clownfish are still alive. That's great news. CZR112. Ed's Fish Tank Extreme. Who plays this? You talking about the music? I can find out for you. I'm not too sure. It is actually Ethan Mikesell. He's an artist for YouTube. I use a lot of his stuff. He's great. Hey, Compy Gianorio. What's up, man? Dan Bakari in the process of making water right now. Sweet. Awesome music. Let's get this started. Alex Simano says, good idea. Now, I love you guys. You know I do. Not in a gay way. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not how I roll. But we would really like to get some girls in here, right? Where are the girls at? We have 9.8% girls out of all the subscribers. 9.8% are women. Where are they? Mandy, where are you? She's in the UK. Chris Coleman, I buy real seawater ocean from Petco. Real seawater ocean from Petco. I'm kind of focused the channel. I've always kind of focused the channel towards the newbies out there, and I've gotten a lot of great responses as far as, hey man, thanks for helping me with my aquarium, I really appreciate it. I placed an email out to one of my favorite reef keepers. The guy is awesome and he's really cool, and we got him. He's going to be on Reef Talk with Scott and I on Sundays. By the way, Reef Talk channel is going away. The Reef Talk shows will still be every Sunday on Mile High Reefers and RoderTube Reef. I'm not going to say who it is, but if you guys are watching other shows in the past, you know who it is. I was trying to get him, and it took him a week or two, a couple weeks, but he responded. We're going to get him. Okay, so saltwater aquariums. Yes, they have salt in them, all right? And it's not table salt. It's salt that mimics salt from the ocean, and it's synthetic, and it's made in factories and all that. There's a few different brands you can buy. There's Red Sea, which I think I want to try. It is pricier. You don't really need to get the expensive salt from what I understand and have read, but I use Instant Ocean. You could just use the lowest end Instant Ocean. It's great. I've never had any issues with it. I absolutely love it. Preach Reef says, I'm a newbie and I've been making my own RODI water. Awesome. Dan Bacara, is it Mr. Saltwater Tank? It is not Mr. Saltwater Tank. I haven't reached out to him yet, but I will. The amount of salt in your aquarium, 1.024. I know it sounds like a really small number, but if it even fluctuates down to 1.023 or 22, it could be bad for your corals. Now your fish can survive in 1.018. My fish love 1.018. Corals, not so much. They kind of wither up and it's not good. I keep my reef aquarium between 1.024 to 1.025. I'm slowly going to bump it up to 1.026. The amount of salinity in the water is 1.026 from the ocean, so I want to try and mimic that as much as I can. So, let's back up. Your water has to be as pure as possible. Even if you have excellent drinking water, like I do, you don't want to use tap water because it does have chlorine and it's going to have some elements of metal in it, and you don't want that in your water at all. Saltwater aquariums are incredibly fragile, and the smallest amount of metals or chlorine will kill your corals and hurt your fish. And you say, oh, I've been using it for a while, it's fine. Well, over time your tank will crash. Now, you can put additives in your water to remove the chlorine and stuff like that, but I'm not even going to talk about them right now because I recommend you don't do it. So there's two things you can buy. You can go to your local reef store, your LRS. A lot of people call it LFS, local fish store, but I hate that term, so we're going to call it LRS, local reef store. It sounds cooler and not as stupid. So when you walk in, you're going to get a 5-gallon jug, and you're going to say, you're going to have enough jugs to do a 10% water change weekly. Now, this is what I recommend. You can break the rules, whatever. I'm just saying what I've read. You're going to do a water change weekly of 10%. So I would go there with my 2 5-gallon jugs. I would do 10 gallons a week when I started out, and they'd say, do you want fresh or salt water? And of course you want salt water, but to try and save some money, I said, just give me the fresh water, please, the RODI water. And then I would buy a bag of salt, and I would mix my own salt water in my garage. So here's me driving all the way out to get gallons of fresh water, to drive all the way home, then to mix salt and let it sit overnight to do a water change. What are the cons against that? Well, I think I just said them. You have to drive, and you have to waste money and gas and time. And then, if you need salt water, if you have to do an emergency water change for some reason, it'll happen. If your fish don't look the best, or something looks a little off, and you want to do water change, or you thought you had water, but you really don't, well, you're screwed, because look, it's 10:13 at night, p.m., and no fish store is open, no reef shop is open. So, you know, when I got into the hobby, I didn't want to go crazy, and I didn't want to have all this crap everywhere, because you see these YouTube videos of all these, you know, men and women with all this fish gear just packed into a room, and you've got wires and cables and things and canisters everywhere. Looks like Frankenstein's lab. And I didn't want to be that crazy with it, but I didn't want to keep making the trips to get water. And one of the guys at my local reef store, he's like, you know what, I really recommend it. And I kind of was wondering if he was just trying to get more money out of me to buy this filter to filter the water, your tap water, to make your own fresh water at home. And I'm like, seriously, is it worth it? He's like, it is, man. I know it's a lot of money up front, but in the end, you're going to be so happy. And I really am happy. You can get them for like $68. I think mine, got it 2 years ago. It's a bulk Reef Supply one. It makes 75 gallons of water a day. And it was about, I don't know, 200, 250 bucks. This is what an RODI unit looks like right here. It's a little blurry. It actually says bulk Reef Supply. This is the exact one that I have. It's 75 gallons a day. Now basically what happens is, it's going to come with this nozzle thing right here. I don't know the exact terminology. I'm not perfect, and I don't really care, to be honest. The bottom of it, and I'm moving my mouse as if you guys can see it. The bottom of it, the ridges, that's going to screw on to your laundry sink faucet, and then it's going to flow out the top, which of course this photo is upside down. Now, the black lever on the right determines if it's going to go out your sink, out the top, which is inverted, so like a regular faucet, or if you turn that nozzle 45 degrees, it's going to go out the front of this thing where you can see little hose connects. Now that's going to feed your RODI unit. So out of your faucet, when you turn this black lever 45 degrees, water is not going to flow out of into your laundry tub sink. It's going to flow out of this little connector here in front of me, and that's going to connect to the red hose here on the left side. That red hose feeds into this RODI unit. The water is going to flow through the first chamber, which is going to grab all the solids out of your water, the first chamber being on the left. So the solids are going to stay in there, and then it's going to move on. The water is going to flow into chamber 2. And each of these chambers remain filled with water, whether you're using it or not, and they fill at a rate of, it takes maybe 10 seconds to fill each one. That's how fast the flow is, okay? The second one is carbon. Actually, I have carbon in both of mine. It looks like they don't have carbon in the second one, but it's like 5 micron filter. No, it is a filter, about 5 microns. And then the last one is carbon, and it's going to remove, you know, whatever chlorine or chemicals that are in your water. Now, after it gets filtered through each of these chambers, these canisters, okay, the water is going to flow up to the top. You see it looks like a plastic tube on the top. Here is a better view of it. Okay, those are not my feet, by the way. I took this image offline. I do not wear black socks when I'm in the house. So the water is going to, after being filtered through those 3 chambers, the fourth step, really, in the basic RODI unit, is to have water flow through this called the membrane. This is where all the water pressure takes place and is responsible for filtering and purifying most of the water. In the upper right hand side, you see there's a gauge to tell you the water pressure, and that's important because if your water pressure drops, it means that it's time to change these 3 filters. Alright, usually it depends how many water changes you do, but I would say, they say every 6 months to a year you replace them. A good way to tell is if you look on the cartridge on the left, it's going to stay white for quite some time, but when it turns like a yellowish, it's time to replace it, because that means a lot of solids are being caught in there and you don't want to risk solids flowing through. Now here's what the replacement cartridges look like. You can get this whole set relatively cheap from Bulk Reef Supply, even Home Depot, for about $20. Alright, and all you have to do is unscrew each of these. It comes with a wrench, a plastic wrench. You want to make sure when you unscrew them that the water doesn't splash all over you. It'll happen because the water is filled to the top. Okay, so I replace mine once a year. now that I have 2 tanks, I'm just going to do it every 6 months. I just purchased some from Bulk Reef Supply, and I'm going to be doing that this weekend. Now, in this picture, the membrane, you see at the top of the membrane, it's got a blue nozzle. Let me see if I can get a better photograph of it. Well, I guess I don't really need it, but here's one. On the right side of your photograph, you see the blue lever. That's going to determine where the flow is going through the membrane. So you turn it one way, it's going to flow through the membrane out the blue cable that is pictured here. See the blue cable all the way on the right? That blue cable is going to be connected to a Rubbermaid container. I got this exact brute container. This is not my setup again. I ripped it off from Google. And it's going to, you drill a hole in your Rubbermaid container, and it's going to fill up this whole thing in the course of maybe, I don't know, 8 hours. You're going to get 10 gallons or something like that. Do the math, whatever. How do you guarantee that this doesn't overflow if you're out shopping or taking in a movie? I didn't let this overflow much. I mean, flow by itself. So it just made me nervous. What I did is I bought one of these. I can't remember the name of it. Someone tell me what it is. It basically, you drill a hole in your Rubbermaid container and you screw this into the side of it. When the water level raises, much like in your toilet, the water is going to push up on this device on the right, and then once the water level pushes it up, it's going to automatically cut off the flow of water even if your sink is still running. It works great. I have left the house with this thing going. I've gone to sleep with it, and it's no problem whatsoever. Dan Bacara says, my 150 gallon per day RODI came in yesterday and it leaked out of every fitting, probably because the pressure in the lines were short or so they didn't seat nicely. Dan, that's an excellent statement. Please make sure that these 3 canisters here are tightened really tight. Usually what I'll do is I'll brace the top white part, which is metal, against the trim of the wall or something, or the concrete outside, and then I'll put the wrench around the canister and I'll torque it down really hard. That's what she said. And that guarantees there'll be no leaks. Even if you torque it down fiercely, it will leak a little bit. Reef Spy, thank you. It's a float valve. Adam Rice, a float valve. Thank you, crew. And that thing is a float valve. It's like 20 bucks. 20 bucks for a piece of plastic. Totally worth it because you don't want 20 gallons of water in your house. So here's what I do. I always make sure that there's fresh water in here all the time, because how I do my top-offs, your aquarium will evaporate water, and you need to replace the water that evaporates. You do not replace it with salt water, because as we all learned in Science 101, salt does not evaporate, it's a solid. You want to replace the water, replenish it with fresh, pure water only. So I keep a 1 gallon empty jug next to this, and when my tank needs to be topped off, I'll just submerge the 1 gallon in the Rubbermaid here until it's filled. I'll carry it to the aquarium and I'll top it off. I don't use top off units. I don't want to have any more equipment that I need to power. Electricity bill is high enough, whatever. So that's what I do. Now, it's filled with fresh water right now. When I'm done with the show, I'm going to put my 10 scoops of salt water in because this is 10 gallons. I'm going to let it cycle because I've got a power head in this thing. I let that run for 24 hours. I let the salt really get in the water and dissolve. Because a lot of chemical things happen with that salt in the water. You never, never, never want to just put salt in there and just do your water change, okay? So that's basically it. It's always filled. After I do my water change, I start filling it up with fresh water again. And also, by the way, that blue valve right here on the right, when you turn it the other way, it completely flushes the membrane in this white canister that you see here that looks like the back of a stormtrooper, you know? And that's going to flush it and cleanse it, and it's going to really, really prolong the life of that membrane, which is the most important part. That's what's responsible for making your water pure. It's where all the pressurization takes place, and you want to make sure it's cleaned out. Run everything through there about 5 minutes before you do. I do it before and after filling the Rubbermaid container. Now, here, I told you that the blue line goes to your Rubbermaid container. That's the fresh water. Well, where does the so-called bad water go? This black hose in the back that you really can't see, that's where the bad water goes. It's taking everything but the purified water out. Some people put it in different containers to water their garden. You know, I just let the hose run down the sink. People think, isn't that a waste of water? Really not. And another big, great question is this going to increase my water bill? It doesn't. I'm telling you guys, I've been making my water for, you know, what, 2 years? My water bill has not gone up. In fact, it's gone down a little bit. Do not ask me why. So that is water purification in a nutshell. I highly recommend one of these RODI units. That's how they work. You know, I didn't want to get all crazy. You got this in your laundry room. You got this in your laundry room. Everything's getting cluttered up. Now here's something I just purchased too. This is going to be awesome. I think this is about 50 bucks. And it's a TDS meter. Now you basically hook it up. I'm going to do a different show on this at another time demonstrating it. And this TDS meter is going to tell you exactly how good your equipment is filtering the water and when it's time to change your filters. So you don't have to eyeball it. You guys probably know more than me, but because I just got this, and basically it's going to tell you everything you need to know so you don't have to second guess. I was perfectly fine replacing it every 6 months regardless, my filters, but this is going to be awesome to meter to tell you exactly what's going on and how your system is working. That's my show. How'd you guys like it? Let's read some questions. Let's see. Okay, atmosphere. Alright, let me back way the hell up because there's hold on. Damn. Okay. Phil Tennell, I'm pretty sure it's Malev's Reef. That's right, man, it's him. Yes, I can't wait. That dude's awesome. How did you come up with your YouTube name, Matthew Curtin? I'm gonna blast through these questions. That's a good question. You know, the YouTube name is always very important, and I didn't know what to name it. They say you should really name your YouTube channel after what you do. You don't want to just call it like, you know, John Smith. What does he do? Does he build car engines? Does he build kites? Does he do coloring books? So I just thought, screw it, I'll make it my name. I saw a really, okay, like one of the most successful YouTubers, PewDiePie. 42 million subscribers that dude has, and it's a gaming channel. That name says nothing about gaming, so I figured, screw it. If you're popular, you're popular. So I just named it after my name, and then I wanted to incorporate a word about saltwater aquariums. Mr. Saltwater Tank, that's a great name. You do a search for Saltwater Tank, boom, there he is. And then I just added Reef at the end. I live right next to the ocean, Bay Area Reefs says. Someone's calling. Alright, I'll take this call. Who is this?
What up, brother? It's Ed.
What's up, dude? It's always Ed.
Nobody's got the balls to call in, I guess.
What happened? Did your balls drop off?
I actually buy my water from the Reef store.
Oh, yeah?
I just had good luck with it. It's a pain in the ass lugging 25 gallons around, but, you know.
You still do it?
Yeah, I still do it.
Lugging it around, making my salt, and I said, screw this, I'm just going to buy salt from them so I don't have to mix it. After a few months of that, I got tired of them being closed when I needed them, and there was a holiday, and I didn't make it in time, you know, so whatever. But,
that does make sense to do it that way. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I didn't, like I said, I didn't want to have all this crazy equipment cluttering the house. But you know what, man? In the end, for me, it's just great. Now, why do you continue to do that instead of making your own? So you always have it on hand. What? Any reason?
Well, my wife's already had a fight with me tonight about having too much crap in the house. She opened the refrigerator and all the fish food fell out. And then this morning, my protein skimmer stopped working, so I took it out, and I got water all over the electrical cords, and it was fun.
This hobby sucks. You tell your wife that we all said, I think there's close to 4,000 of us now, just on my channel. Do what you want. You could be out smoking and drinking and screwing around, but no, you're at home watching your fish. So
that's right.
I think she'd much rather have that. But anyway, I know my wife said the same thing. Why the hell you gotta clutter up my laundry room? I get it. And I understand it's a mess. It takes up a lot of space. I get it. You know, you don't want to.
So what I usually do is I buy like 2 jugs of just the RODI water, and if I need it, I can use it.
See, that's exactly right. That's what I used to do. That's what my brother does. It's a good idea. So you've got it. And then you know what? If they were closed in a pinch, I would just run to the grocery store and I would buy a bunch of baby water. You know? Because you can use that.
That would work, yeah.
You can use that. It is reverse osmosis. Make sure you get the right one that says reverse osmosis on it. It's a really small print, but it's there. And that works great. So in a pinch, you guys can just... It's like $1 a gallon. So I would buy 10 gallons for $10. And I would just keep a bunch of those on hand. So there's a tip too.
You have a good weekend and happy reefing.
Man, same to you. Thanks for calling in.
Later.
Later, man. The Reef Spy says, Steve, do you have any objection to getting water straight from the Atlantic Ocean? Man, I don't know. I want to say no. I've never had that luxury, but what if you lived close, like real close? We could walk there. You just take your 5-gallon jugs. I can imagine all the nastiness that would be in the water, but it is from the ocean, so I would say it's great. What do you guys think on that? Here, we got another call. This is Steve. Who is this?
Hey, this is DJmondo.
DJmondo again. What's
what's
going on, man?
Hey, listen, Ryder, I need you to settle a bet for me. Hey, listen, everybody thinks that Jacques Cousteau, the great marine biologist, died of natural causes, right? But I heard on a website that he and a good portion of the crew members from the Calypso, his ship, got killed fighting the Loch Ness Monster near the Straits of Gibraltar. Now, the significance of that is that would make the Loch Ness Monster a saltwater creature rather than freshwater. And so the government covered it up, and they had a closed casket funeral for Jacques Cousteau because he had all these bite marks on him. He got slapped around by the flippers and stuff, you know. So the question is this true? What have you heard? Is it true?
I haven't heard that. I wasn't even sure. Is he still alive? Is Jacques?
Yeah, look, man, whether it's true or not, DJmondosrave.com.
Is he gone? Oh, he's gone. Okay. He's gone. Alright. DJmondo, everybody. Can you run an RODI system with 2 DI canisters? You can. You can. I was thinking about doing it, but if not. Atmospheric Reef. I got the 150 gallons per day from Bulk Reef Supply. That's awesome. Mine's 75 gallons. For like 230, 250, it's worth it, and I received it 3 days later. Totally awesome. That's a big score. Chris Coleman, is the RODI absolutely necessary? Can't you just use a dechlorinator? It is necessary. Your tank and your fish and your corals are going to thrive. I know what you're thinking, Chris. It's like, man, but everything looks good. It will look good, but you want to use is, I can't stress enough how this water needs to be as pure as possible. You can use the dechlorinator in like a, no, forget that. I was going to say a quarantine tank. The problem with dechlorinators is that if you, God forbid, add copper to the quarantine tanks with dechlorinator, those two become toxic and your fish dead. Atmospheric Reef responded to Chris saying it's better to use RODI because you can still get stuff from the water like copper from the lines and those chemicals. Don't take it all out. It can lead to some algae problems too. Awesome, Atmospheric Reef. Thank you. Compi Genorio is back. Kevin, favorite. I've only seen the cesium nitrate alert only for fresh water. Kevin, thank you. To be honest, I've never heard of that. I hope to God they have it. That's great. My nitrates are still really high. More on that later. Speaking of that, look what I bought. I got some more bio pellets for my bio pellet reactor. I have right now a mix of bulk Reef Supply pellets and 2 little fishies. Which is better? I don't know. They're pellets. But I ordered from Amazon Dr. Tim's Aquatics. They're supposed to be the best. NP Active Pearls. Removes nitrates and phosphates naturally. Pure. No fillers. It's awesome. So they had a picture of the jug of pellets. Really? I became a giant. However, it's fine because it says this 450 milliliters, 1.9 cups, will treat 150 gallons. So everything in here is going to treat my 125 gallon aquarium. I just have an RO system. Can I get the DI part and hook it up to the RO system? I've heard you can. But then there's some cheaper models where you cannot. The bulk Reef Supplies, you can. Like, subscribe, and give me ideas for the show. That's all I got. I will see you guys. I love talking to you guys. I never want to say goodbye, but I will. Have a great night. A great weekend. We don't have to work. Hopefully you don't have to work. Enjoy your reefs, and I'll see you soon.